Welcome back. This is Coach Evans, and you're here for another episode of Sip to Tally Films. And today we're going to take a look at team number 13 on our summer power ranking series. But before we do that, just like yesterday, I shouted out the Patreon. Today I want to come back and shout out all the channel memberships here on YouTube. So to do that, let's run through them real quick. Sean Coles, Big E, Devon H, Sam Moore, Black Daniels, Chris, the Hawk, Jawan, Daryl, Ron Rock Beats, Daryl Cherry, TC, Heather, B Squared, Slim, AJ, and Lisa. So I appreciate you guys for being members, and hopefully during the season a lot more of you will take that route too, where we'll have a lot more member exclusive content. Still throwing pieces out there from time to time, but obviously during the season there will be a ton of extra members only content and Patreon content. But let's get started on today's countdown. Here we go. So yesterday's team was the New England Patriots, and a recap of their skill groups: quarterback 23, running back 13, wide receiver 19, tight end 3, O-line 31, defensive line edge 19, linebackers 11, cornerbacks 2, and then safety 17. Now today's team, who statistically, with my metric, came in a tie for yesterday's team. But when you put these two teams side by side, there's one thing that this team has that the other team don't. And even though they're ranked here because it's a group project, they have the reigning MVP on their team, which makes them a lot more dangerous on the field than they are on paper. But this is an on paper summation. So obviously the number 13 team is the Buffalo Bills. Let's get into who they drafted to help better their chances in 2025, because they're another one of those teams that are right on the precipice of Final Four and Super Bowl. All right, they drafted Maxwell Harrison in that first round, cornerback out of Kentucky, one of the fastest guys to run at the combine. TJ Sanders, a defensive tackle out of South Carolina. Landon Jackson, a defensive end out of Arkansas. I see a theme here. Deonnie Walker out of Kentucky, defensive tackle. See a theme here. Safety, Jordan Hancock from Ohio State. Tight end, Jackson Halls from Virginia Tech. Jackson Halls is a hard-nosed kid too. Dorian Strong, cornerback out of Virginia Tech. That's another good pickup. Chase Lunt, offensive lineman, is another good pickup in my opinion. And wide receiver Caden Prather in the 7th round out of Maryland. So those are the guys that they drafted. Let's take a look at the depth chart, see where I have them ranked, and we'll go from there. Starting on offense, obviously they got Josh Allen, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, the reigning MVP. Also in that room is Mitchell Trubisky, Mike White, and Shane Buechele. Josh is good. No disrespect. Josh is one of the best out there. The rest of that room, like if Josh go down, like a lot of teams, if they start to go down, they scrambling. But Mitchell Trubisky and Mike White, can you even get a game or two out of them? Maybe not. But Josh is all in the bag of chips, so he gonna carry this rating for that room. Running back James Cook, Ray Davis, Ty Johnson, Darrington Evans. I don't know what the contract situation is of James Cook, but we're just gonna assume that he's going to be there. And James Cook is well within reach for asking what he's asking for. He's been the workhorse since they switched from a more of a pass it around, air it out team when they got rid of Kellen Winslow to a more ball control, run the ball with Cook, Allen, throw it to Cook, the two. They've gotten a lot better. Wide receivers. Khalil Shakir has been that best wide receiver. Keon Coleman was a high pick for them last year, and they are hoping to have a better sophomore season for Coleman. Josh Palmer they brought in. They also have Elijah Moore and Curtis Samuel they picked up to go with that wide receiver room. So that's a plethora of guys that can contribute. I don't see a star there, but from the quarterback position, they don't necessarily need a star. because he gonna get them out of bad situations. Tight end Dawson Knox, I like. Dr. Kincaid, I like. And they drafted Jackson Halls, who I also like. So it's a really good tight end room, in my opinion, to help out with whatever they need to do as far as blocking or being a safety valve or just making plays and however they're going to make the plays. Up front, the offensive line is pretty good too as well. Deion Dawkins, David Edwards, Connor McGovern, Osiris Torrance, and Spencer Brown. I think Torrance is the weak link, and that's obvious. You can even see that by the PFF scores on the board. Osiris Torrance is the weak link, but the rest of those guys are pretty good. The Bills' offensive line they're solid. They work well together. They've been together. The core has been together for a number of years, so they do their thing up there for the run game and pass protecting Josh Allen. And when they can't protect him, he's 6'5", 300 pounds. Joke. And he gets out of it because he can still move as well. But let's see how I have each position ranked. Quarterback, I have 4. Quarterback room, I have 4. Running back room, 7. Wide receiver room, 12. I like the sprinkling in of all this stuff, and I think Coleman's going to take a big jump this year. I really do. Tight end, 13. Offensive line, 12. So they got a pretty good offensive unit. Let's go to the defensive side. And you notice they drafted 3 defensive linemen within their first 4 picks. So there's a theme going with their draft. Like, they had a need, and they wanted to fill that need. But they're a 4-3 team base. They got Greg Rousseau, who's an animal. Ed Oliver up there, who's an animal. They added in Joey Bosa, and if he can stay healthy, he would contribute to them as well. And TJ Sanders would be one of the guys that's going to rotate in as well. But they drafted 3 defensive linemen to help bolster their defensive line unit, which didn't play bad in my opinion. They were small, but they didn't play bad versus the run or the pass. You go to the linebacker play. Now, I think their linebacker play has fell off. Milano has not been the same guy he was before injury. Bernard kind of got abused a little bit in the time that he played. So I'm not high on their linebacker core like I used to be. If Milano can get back to his 2 years ago playing style, he'll be a lot better. But as of right now, I'm not sold on the linebacker core. Cornerbacks. Again, they drafted Dorian. I'm sorry, that's the wrong name. They got Christian Bedford, Maxwell Harrison, who they drafted with their first round pick, and Teron Johnson. And they got Trey White back. Trey's up here as a starter, but Trey's probably not going to start. It's probably going to be Maxwell, Christian Bedford, and Teron Johnson. And Bedford, they drafted Bedford late in his draft year, and they drafted Elam over Bedford. And Bedford won that job outright and has gotten better and better and better since then. In my opinion, Bedford is one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL right now. You add I'm gonna say the veteran leadership of Trey White, not necessarily the play, and he should make those guys better, especially tutoring Maxwell Harrison, who's a really good corner. So their cornerbacks are pretty good when you add Trey in as a teacher and a mentor rather than a player. And then you go to the safety room. Blaine Bishop and Taylor Rapp, they're okay. Nothing to write home about. Solid dudes. Been around for a while. They can get some good chemistry together. They'll be all right on the back end. But let's see how I have them ranked. Defensive line group, 8. And that's with the additions that they got because they took 3 shots at it. Linebacker group, again, I'm not sold on it. 32. And they probably won't end up being 32, but because of what Milano's put on tape here recently, and I don't like Bernard that much, it is what it is. And just because these guys are ranked don't mean they don't make tackles, because most defensive schemes are made up for linebackers to make tackles, and this one is no different. But their overall play warrants where I have them. Cornerback, like I said, I like what they're building over there. I think Bedford is one of the best corners in the league. You got your rookie Harrison in there. You get him situated. And then Teron Johnson is one of the better nickels in the league as well. I got him at 20. And then safety room, they're aging. They need some young youth infused in that safety room. And hopefully they'll get better. But these 2 guys are solid veterans. But I have them at 30 because I think it's 29 other better safety rooms better than those. But when you take all those numbers, add them together, divide them by 9, you get the same as yesterday. But again, putting the Patriots and the Bills side by side, my bad, it's obvious that the Bills are the better team. Like I said, this is an on paper account of where I have the Bills, and to stay true to the formula, they're here. In my mind, I know they're not. But to stay true to the formula, the Bills are number 13, if I'm not mistaken. But in my mind, I know Josh is going to get them out of a lot of situations that the rest of the team may put them in. But I got to stay true to the formula. So I have the Bills at number 13. So let me know if you think the position groups are too high or too low. And then put it in the comment section. I appreciate y'all for coming out, man. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you can be notified when the rest of these videos drop. Again, shout out to the members. Shout out to the Patreons yesterday. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.